This is the most intimidating moment possible. How do you follow everything that just happens? Like not even 5 minutes ago, but 20 minutes ago, and then an hour ago, and
our presentation doesn't have fire.
I thought we were doing well. I put animation in. All right, well, we are going to be self-deprecating in absence of real humor. So Kary and I really have not met each other except via Skype with
Once.
an awkward phone Skype that didn't work. But we represent both, well, we should switch sides, look. We represent, oh no, wait.
No, we're fine.
This is working out well. All right. I hail from Austin, Hookham.
And I'm from Lima, Peru.
Yeah, and we were charged with coming up with some tips for team building. I don't know what makes us qualified for this, but
idea.
we put some stuff together. But I have been obsessed since we got here, and since we found out we were going to work together on this, with the geography and interesting facts about everyone here, right? So the first thing I wanted to do was find out how long it would take to get to Lima if we wanted to work together, and it's 8.5 hours by plane. Very, very far away.
Yeah, and actually the plane doesn't come right at Austin. You make a stop on Panama or Mexico maybe.
Right.
So it's not
so it's
8 hours.
20 hours.
Yes.
20. Sí, por supuesto. But we're in the same time zone.
Woohoo!
Yeah. And we don't share this. Go ahead. You tell me.
Lima has some interesting beaches. It's not healthy, but they're surfers, so it works.
And Austin has a river that we call a lake. It's beautiful. But we love the same breakfast foods. We found that out, right?
Yes, at Lima for breakfast we have empanadas, small empanadas.
And we have breakfast tacos. Look, they're the same thing practically. So the one thing that we definitely share is a love of Creative Mornings in both cities. And we started talking about how we do things in our respective cities, and we found out that there's actually some interesting points of difference. So our audience, we get about 125, 150 people to events. Y'all do?
60, 70 people per event.
That's what the slide says, yeah. This is where it gets a little more interesting. We have about 10 to 12 organizers, folks from month to month who carry over and help make the entire thing happen, whereas in Lima...
We have a small group of volunteers, just me and Christian, that's
Dedicated.
over there.
Dedicated team.
Yes.
Yes. And then, but on a volunteer scale, holy crap.
Yeah. We have a big group of volunteers, around 60 volunteers.
Yeah, we had Exactly. Exactly.
Volunteers, audience, just the same.
And we got 14 people that we email once in a while. So we are certainly, I think everybody has said this, and it's true, we are not the experts, but we tried to cull together some tips that have worked for us, either independently or we found in common for our teams that help us get Creative Mornings done on an ongoing basis. So here's some 5 tips we hope maybe they're obvious and you can nod your head to, or maybe you can learn from. So the first thing is find the right balance for your chapter. So in Austin, we started small. We had a core group of 3 organizers, myself, Brian, who's here today, and Eric, who couldn't be here with us. We started off, and we've grown considerably as we went. And that worked really, really well for us. But in Lima...
In Lima, we started as a big group. We were at the beginning 5 friends that get together to do some brainstorming and think about how we can improve our city, how can we make it better. But in the way, some stuff happened. One of our guys entered an MBA, so he must leave. One of the girls that help us is doing an interchange program in Barcelona. And the other guy is taking the last course in college. So it practically is just 2 of us now. Sad.
But I think for what we both, when talking about this, found that it's really important that you find what's right for your city. So for us, it was important to grow, and we didn't need to stay 3. We needed to actually get more help. In Lima, you've been able to manage with 2, and it's been okay.
Yeah, and now we are thinking to. We are talking to the guys if they are planning to come back, or maybe we can find someone instead of them to help us with the event.
Tip number 2, find your team's strengths. So in Austin, what we do is anytime anyone raises their hand and says, hey, I want to help out, what I do is I said, great, let's get coffee. And I'm very intent upon making sure that I hear about that person before I ever bring up what we want or need from anybody. So the key there for us, in Austin at least, is that we try to match people's desires and strengths with the needs that we have. So Ann, who's here, can attest to this. We bought her a few drinks and found out what she's really interested in. It turns out she's a financial whiz and loves organization. And we are terrible. Brian and I are terrible about those things. So she has now led up our sponsors partners effort. Partners. Getting better. So we try to match strengths with the responsibilities and things that we need.
We found also in Austin team too that saying yes to all the comments or suggestions for the team is what works best. As Christian told you a minute talks before, at Lima we have a friend of us who helps us. Her name is Daniela Dada for friends, and she's an industrial designer. So one day she comes and say, Kary, you know what? I think our breakfast can be more fun and a way to improve the people, to get together, to get to know each other. So she said, I have a friend who is learning something about food design. You want to try? And I say, yes, just do it. And for the breakfast, I didn't know what's going to be. She sent me some sketches. I actually saw it, but I didn't believe it was possible to make. And she did like these triangles of jam that you just have to stick on a transparent wall, and you have to take it, and the bread was on the table, so you have to take the jelly and the bread, and everyone was, wow, this is crazy, you can do that. And I was like, yes, they can do that. So what we learned from this is to say yes and empower your team to make it possible, because it's their idea and it's like their child. So it's better if they do it.
And the other side of that, it's okay if it actually doesn't happen. So I said yes to an Instagram account from an organizer who ended up not doing that. He actually didn't make an Instagram account for us, and we still don't have an Instagram account, but we're fine. We're still alive, and people still use hashtags, and it's all working out still. So we might still in the future, but at that moment, my team heard me say yes, and so the next time a suggestion comes up, they know what the answer will be too.
Say thank you. At Lima, we do what Tina did at the beginning of this event. She called all of her team to be standing here, and we do the same at Lima. We shout out for their work and all the good things they are doing.
Yeah, I personally believe in praising in public and criticizing in private. That's like core to who I am. So very intentional about calling out Brian and Ann here in front of you all, because they're amazing organizers that help make Austin what it is. But also, we don't follow on Twitter many people, just speakers and organizers, so it gives us a chance to really hone in on what our organizers are doing and call them out publicly in lots of different spaces. So there's lots of ways to say thank you, but I think just saying it publicly with a microphone in front of your mouth is a huge way to keep people coming back and feeling invested and feeling involved with your team.
Last but not least, ask for help publicly. At the beginning of our first year at Lima, we asked all of our events after the talk if was someone interested in helping us, because we always need help. And that's how we got our 60 volunteer base, because we asked for help for 12 months.
Yeah, and in Austin, we found that getting specific can be really helpful as well. So we need some help big time with getting the content that we're creating out there. We brought that up specifically, and now we have a content manager, a community manager, who's actually volunteered to specifically help with that need. So I think it's been brought up several times, but just being able to voice that and not be ashamed or afraid of saying that makes a huge difference. So I know in the back, it's like you can't even see these people down here. These are my people in Austin. This is who started Austin.
This is Lima, Christian, and me. Thank you.
We love our teams.